So part of the reason I picked Jamie as my executive coach, because there are lots out there, was her whole thing. There was somewhere on her website, it was like, you're tired of like pretending to be somebody else, or like you want to feel like your voice matters without like losing sight of who you are. And I was like, yes, like I don't even know who I am anymore. Besides somebody who's just trying to be liked very, very hard. And fun fact, trying to be liked doesn't make you very likable. And so when I joined Jamie, I was just like, I don't even know who I am. And it didn't take her long to be like, what? This, she noticed, she called out a lot of misalignments pretty early for me. She's like, it sounds like you're not somebody who's been scared, but you feel quite scared now. And you're not somebody who, cares what people think, but you're really caring what people think here. And it was a lot of like finding my way back to my roots of doing things differently, and being comfortable with that. And that's kind of how I've arrived at my like very strange business Barbie.
Objectively, like as your sister watching you go through this, I feel like an executive coach you would think would make a business Barbie stronger and I don't know, a little bit more intense, like you're really beefing up somehow. But I feel like it's made you softer and like more at peace with yourself. And in that, you've been stronger. So like you seem less anxious and like you're trying to fill boxes with stuff you don't know how to find, as opposed to you feel more settled. Feel like you've been more settled in who you are, which was not what I thought would come from executive coaching. So that was very cool to watch happen.
A lot of
Thank
executive
you.
coach, a lot of executive coaches say do more. They're like, do more. Make better to-do lists. And Jamie doesn't do that. Now we're just going to talk about how great Jamie is. Jamie Jamie doesn't do that. Jamie doesn't tell you do more, be more, which is what
Mm-mm.
women get a lot. A lot of our self-help books are do more, be more. And I was so tired. And Jamie said, in the number of times Jamie has said, I'm not going to fight with you, which I love because I love fighting. I'm not going to fight with you. Or like, let's just try talking slower, which no one has ever successfully gotten me to do that before, Jamie. Like she literally was like, "Can you just say those words?" And then the last one being like, "Well, let's just take a minute and feel it in our bodies." And those are not the things I think people expect to hear from an executive coach, but it's like trying to find that inner knowing, that inner peace, lowering the frantic energy, and from that comes a lot more clarity. Like we could spend 3 hours talking through tactics and strategies, but what Jamie and I usually do in about 30 minutes is just notice the space between my wrist and my elbow.
This is a
And
real thing that we do.
yes,
This
yes,
is a technique out of Open Focus Brain written by Dr. Les Femi. So there's science behind it.
so much
And
science.
I love that he also was a Zen Buddhist, so he was sort of rooted in this ancient tradition of meditation, mindfulness. And what it
Mm.
does is it changes your state of brain. So you go from high frequency beta waves in your brain, which is like that very uh, like hectic state of mind,
Hmm.
to synchronous alpha waves, which is associated with with a calm creative state of mind, which Beth is an expert of because she's also a toy expert. I mean, and I think the best toys would probably bring about that sort of present but joyful, engaged state of mind. So that's what we
Hmm.
do. So when
Yeah, yeah.
thank
She
you
was
so
like,
much.
yeah. I think tech does that fall under the hypnosis part of your work?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, this is
So
something that we learned in hypnosis training. Yes.
another thing I liked about Jamie is she offered like included hypnosis, which I think some people were like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's going to be amazing." But she has me like notice spaces on my body, and by the time I come out of that, she goes, "Well, like, what do you know?" And I will tell her, and I don't know if this is everyone's experience, but just getting me to slow down and access those waves, I'll be like, "I know exactly what I need to do." And I'll tell her, and then she'll be like, "Great, what's your first step?" And then we'll figure out my step, and then we move on. Like that, the number of times that's been our session has been like frantic, fear, scared. Okay, but what do you know, SJ?
So
And she
she's
just
shutting down your
holds.
amygdala. She's saying, calm, take a break, amygdala. Let the rest of the brain have a say in something here.
Yeah, and she stops all of it. She's like she slows it all down. She holds the space. She walks me through something that I hate doing on my own. Like I'm like vibrating with energy, and she slows me down, and I find the solution. And then usually we do go through some kind of like, oh, I know how to help you do that thing because I have done this with another client, or like here's some hot tips, or like, can I suggest that you do this instead of that? Like we usually come out with some kind of an action plan, but it's not a usual session that I think people would expect from a coach where you're like, what should I do? And they're like, here's your plan. And it involves like, doing more. It's usually quite a bit less. Like one of my favorite examples is I wanted to give a presentation and I wanted it to be the best presentation that's ever been presented with all this data and all this stuff. And Jamie was like, "Well, what problem are you solving?" And I was like, "All of them." She was like, "But whose problems are you solving? Like, what problems do they have?" And it ended up turning into like ended up making a plan to talk to two people, and I ended up making a very collaborative presentation that was very like at the end, my boss was like, "Oh my gosh, SJ, like that's not at all what I expected, but it was what we needed." And so like that pause for clarity is very uncomfortable, I think specifically for women,
Hmm.
because we never have like we're not supposed to stop.
Or we feel like we have to fight for our voice to be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very much like give your own voice space. So that's my like a big part of that, Beth, when you say like I seem more calm, it's because I've spent a lot more time in that calm state,
Hmm.
instead of just trying to do and be and schedule. And, I just feel like every bit of advice is like hire a cleaner and make better to-do lists and get up earlier. And Jamie's like, screw all of that.
Jamie's like, do you
Yes.
see this little gem inside of you? Do you see the gem? And you're like, I don't see the gem. I'm too busy looking at this other coach. There's a gem inside of you. Look, I found it. And it's like Jamie can see that. And so she's like, draw your attention to the gem. What's inside of Sarah? And then it comes out and it's beautiful.
She does.
Beth, were you in our sessions?
Oh
Oh,
no, I'm
can
just a
I
witch.
tell can I tell the story of how Jamie made me cry at our last session, Beth? I don't think I've told you this, and I might cry again.
Please do.
Um, I asked for permission, not waiting for the response. I she we've been dealing with the fact that I feel this like crushing pressure of ambition in myself
Yeah.
and how to like manage that and nurture it and also like not be crushed by it. And we were trying to create visuals for it. And she was like, "What does it look like?" And she's trying to help me like figure out like what it would look like if I gathered up these parts of me and put them in a basket.
Mm.
And she was like, "What's it feel like?" And I was like, "It feels heavy and like it's got a lot of forward motion and it's pushing me and like but I tend to use like more negative words when I talk about my ambition." And she was like, "Does it feel like a little red go-kart?" And because she had seen,
Aw.
oh my goodness, she had seen that I bought my sons a little red go-kart when I got my new job. And I was like, I'm a
Oh,
little red
no.
go-kart.
Oh, straight to
And
the heart.
I was like,
Oh.
did you do that on purpose,
She
Jamie?
grabbed
But
her
it did,
arrow from her quiver and just shot it straight to
right in
the
the heart.
heart.
But she did. She helped me like kind of reframe my ambition, which in our like evangelical, very Christian upbringing, like girls and women aren't supposed to have that. It's kind of an embarrassing thing. And to reframe it as something fun and pretty and shiny and fast and not something scary and bad that was one of our like, oh, big
Oh, I
moments.
love that. That's
Thank
She
you
got me,
so
good.
Beth.
much. I just have gratitude because every time you talk about this Jamie, I'm like, who's this Jamie?
You
She
should
sounds
really sign up.
great.
She does free consultants. If you want to like spend an hour with her, she's really great. She won't pressure you.
And I just want to say I have like tremendous respect for both of you and any woman who has a job and has children, any mother, because I'm the second daughter of a single mom, in
Oh, wow.
America who still speaks broken English. She's an immigrant, and yeah, I just taught her how to use ChatGPT to translate things from English to Korean so she doesn't have to rely on other people. It is a
Oh,
game
life
changer,
changing. Yes.
life changing.
Yes.
But I grew up, a little bit mad at my mom
Hmm.
because she was working so much, but then I
Yeah.
got into the working world and my respect just exponentially grew because now I realize, holy shit, she was dealing with so much, right?
Hmm.
Paying the bills, rent, dealing with like three kids, and making money, and dealing with, the workplace politics or whatever. I mean, I'm like, I have just endless amount of respect for any working mother. I'm not a mother myself, but I know Beth and SJ, you both are mothers. So I'm curious, do you want to tell us a little bit about, you know, yes, maybe I'm tugging at your heartstrings a little bit here, but what does it mean to be a provider? What does it mean to be a woman, a working mother, and also somebody who provides?
Sarah is going to probably have a strong answer for this because she is
Yeah.
the main provider in their home. I am supplementary in my home. Still needed. We would
But
have to
still
move if I
providing.
didn't.
I
Still
hate it when you
providing.
say supplementary. I hate it when you say that because
I know
Beth,
that.
Beth, because you
I
can't not
say
have a job. And that doesn't
I
make it
can't.
supplementary. It makes it essential.
That's
But I'm
true.
thankful for I'm so thankful for my husband's job. Not because he's a man and he makes money for me, but because he's worked really hard. And I met
Yeah.
him when he was working at a bank and a grocery store. And so I
Mhm.
see him as a person that has worked really hard, and I'm so proud of him. That he really does work hard to keep getting higher and higher jobs, whatever. So he's put in the work. So it's not just because he's a dude, it's because he's a hard worker. Um, but for myself, I say supplemental because I'm like, I have the luxury, not everybody does, to not have to continue to grow my paycheck and grow it and grow it and grow it. And I'm thankful for that. So it comes from a point of gratitude, but I appreciate the protection of like, hey, I matter. I do matter. We'd have to move if I didn't have a job. I don't want to do that. Anyway, but for being a mom, I have two daughters. So Sarah's going to have the two sons version of this. I have the two daughters version of this. And I was raised not knowing that I had, fire inside my voice. Um, and I want to raise my daughters to believe that they can breathe fire. And we joke that sometimes that means the fire is going to come at me, but that's okay. We will learn how to navigate that and manage it. And them seeing me work, I feel like is very important. Seeing me help people, seeing me dislike my coworkers, seeing me struggle to find an answer to something, seeing me give my husband career advice, seeing me as a fully functioning human is so important. They also see me playing toys with them, but they've seen me do all of these things, and I want that for them because their biggest role model right now in their life other than me is their teachers, and they want to be teachers when they grow up, and I love that for them. But I know that's not always going to be the case. That's just who they have the best experiences with. And they've seen me sitting at a desk typing. And so one of my daughters really wants to sit at a desk typing. She actually really just wants to figure out how to hack into computers. And that's a whole other concern. But um, them seeing me work hard in a variety of ways, although my resume looks to me like a hodgepodge of things, it's provided my daughters seeing me do so many different things and knowing also that they're not stuck in one career. They can sit at a computer and push buttons as their job, or they can go sit in a room and talk with people, or they can stand in front of people and talk with them. They can travel to different countries. It can look like whatever they want it to. So when you ask them what they want to do, they usually provide two answers. I want to do this and I want to do this because we've
Mm.
really emphasized how important it is that you're not just going to grow up and be a thing. You might be that thing and also do this other thing or turn this into something else. So lots of conversations, but that for me has been the provision that I provided other than monetary. I also am providing them and my best a role model, somebody that they can grow and learn from.
Love it. I love it. I was just thinking about how if they do want to become business Barbies or any kind of, female whatever. I'm sorry, I can't think of the better analogy
Leader.
here.
Yeah,
But they can have endless outfits. They can have endless amount
absolutely.
of,
Uh-huh.
choices. So they can be this and that. I love that. Thank you so much. What about
Absolutely.
you, SJ?
My boys are still little and don't understand what I do. All they know is that I go into work and in my office. And it's my favorite thing is they think their dad's job is the coolest because he's the mayor. But it's like mostly a volunteer position. We love it, we value it, but like that's not where our money's coming from. But like that's the job they see that's so cool. And I'm like, I can't wait for the day when they look back and they're like, oh, mom was making all of the money. Like, because their little brains can't do it. But I really love that my sons get to see me being like a nurturing, fun mom who also has to go to meetings. And they also see their dad being like a whole person who's doing dishes and wiping their butts. And then he's also going to meetings and seeing how like hard work can be enjoyable. One thing I've loved about becoming a mom, because I worked pre-mom, post-mom, and I became a more efficient worker when I had kids.
Oh,
Like I
hell
know
yeah.
people say like, "Oh, you have kids, like you're gonna have less time for work." No, no, no. I am not gonna dick around with anything that's non-essential because I want to get back to my kids. Like when you don't have kids, there's a little extra space that you can expand. And when you have kids and you want to get back to them, which that's important. If you
Or
want to get
away
back to
from
them,
them.
yeah,
Sometimes you want to get away from them as much as you want to get back to them, which
yes.
is a little confusing, but just as important to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be at my desk. I love working. Okay, I gotta go.
No, I used to tell Cole, like a marker for me is if I'm doing well in life is I am just excited to start my day at work as I am to end my day at work. That
Hmm.
means that I'm excited for my work, but I'm also excited to be done with it. But I don't mess around with like late night meetings just because I'd rather be with my kids. And so all of that has been really fun for me to see them like try to process what it is that I'm doing. Like I can't wait till they're older and they can kind of share back to me what on earth they thought I was doing. Because I think there was one day John saw me typing and he goes, "Are you playing it like the piano?" And I was like, "It does kind of look like that." And then one
This is
day I
an
did it.
angry song.
I know. One day he goes, "Mom, did you get all the buttons?" And I was like, so he's trying to figure it out, like what it is that I'm doing. And it's very cute. So it's been, for me though, it's just been very much like I just want my sons to see people in all their capacities. All of their doctors are women. They've got two aunts that are doctors. So like they've got I almost feel like we're a little bit in Barbie land in my house because the women are in charge. But it's been fun.
And Ken's get to be, I forget I mean, that was the best
He did
song in the
Beach.
Barbie. Ken
Beach,
did Beach, and
yes.
in Barbie the movie, Ken had the best song and dance. So
He
I
really did. He really
Totally
did.
undervalued.
I will say my husband has a I am a Ken Nuff shirt.
I'm
Yeah.
enough.
He does. Or hat. He has a hat that says I am Ken Nuff. Oh, love it.
Thank you so much for coming on to Risky Conversations. Is there anything else that we haven't yet addressed that you want listeners to know, either about misinformed or anything else?
Hmm.
Hmm. I mean,
I can't think of it. We'll fill
yes,
a gap of conversation. We'll just keep talking, but I can't think of anything.
no, I mean, I more than anything, if there's, I mean, I just want people to, as they're listening to this, one of the best things you can do as a woman is to seek other women's guidance, especially women that
Mhm.
know more than you. Like self-help books are great, podcasts are great, but there is something about sitting in front of another person who's looking at you